to Yahoo Sports Read and React, brought to you by Yahoo Sports. Trending. Toronto Blue Jays might play in Buffalo for entirety of shortened season. LeBron James and other NBA stars speak out in support of reportedly suspended ESPN reporter. Fight over Memphis coach Penny Hardaway turns violent. Ugly beatdown at UFC 251 had fans begging for ref to end fight. The lead. If the SEC is worried, we should all be worried. By Jay Busby. How long before we see Alabama LSU again? I don't know. Morning, friends. As I write this, I'm in Atlanta, which is not just the epicenter of SEC football, but rubbing shoulders with many of the states currently in the teeth of the coronavirus panic. The latter is very close to having a dramatic effect on the former. Under normal circumstances around these parts, we'd be discussing whether Kirby Smart can get the Georgia Bulldogs over the hump, whether LSU will even be a shadow of its championship-winning self without Joe Burrow, or if Nick Saban has lost it now that Alabama has gone 2 full seasons without a title. Instead, we're looking hard at whether there will even be a college football season. Saturday morning, remember when that was a time for prepping the tailgate? SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey, speaking to ESPN Radio's Marty Smith and Ryan McGee, offered a stark warning. The direct reality is not good, and the notion that we've politicized medical guidance of distancing and breathing masks and hand sanitation, ventilation of being outside. What? Ventilation of being outside? Being careful where you are in buildings. You can't mitigate and eliminate every risk, but how do you minimize the risk? Sankey said. We are running out of time to correct and get things right. We are running out of time. That's not exactly the kind of inspiring halftime speech that gets a team fired up for the second half. But then again, a team's not going to get called un-American if it passes on third down. And missed field goals aren't contagious, not even in college football. In the South, SEC football ranks right up there with church and mama's cooking, and please don't ask us to rank them beyond that. So what Sankey is doing here is trying to scare the region straight. Being unable to hang out with large groups stinks, and wearing a mask is no fun when humidity already makes you feel like you're wrapped in a wet blanket. But Sankey's saying it's either step up and get at least some form of college football, or keep on blissfully spreading the virus, assuming it's somebody else's problem, and wait till 2021 for the next kickoff. You know, by 2021, the entire population will have had this virus. I'm going to focus on preparing to play the season as scheduled, but acknowledge the circumstances around coronavirus are going to guide us in that decision-making, Sankey added. And the reality right now is the trends in our region, in our nation, are not in the positive direction for being able to have normal experiences. Oh, so you don't like fewer deaths? Fewer deaths is not good enough for you? Lest there be any question, no, I'm not rooting for college football to be canceled. No one wants that. But no one wants a season sabotaged by a panic that could have been brought under control if everyone had just done their part either. Oh ho ho! Oh! Could have been brought under control if everyone had just done their part. You mean like back in March, where everybody had to stay home, where everybody got furloughed from their jobs, where everybody, if they didn't get furloughed, had to work from home? That part, you mean? At which point, there were no healthy people who aren't in danger of dying getting the virus. There was only the really sick and old people getting the virus and dying. And so now it is finally the healthy people's turn to get the virus and provide us with a little fucking herd immunity. Thank you very much. The Big Ten and the Pac-12 have already announced that they'll be pursuing conference-only schedules this season. That's going to wreak havoc on the budgets of the smaller schools that had planned to play those schools. But there's another aspect to their decision. They are effectively quarantining themselves off from other conferences, which might be in regions suffering more positive tests. More tests in general. Regions that are conducting more tests in general. In other words, they're taking care of themselves in case the southern states of the SEC can't do the same. If the SEC goes down, it's not going to take all of college football with it. If nothing else, sitting back and watching the other Power 5 conferences duke it out for championship supremacy ought to be enough to get the SEC in gear. College football is facing a running clock. You can't outsmart the clock, and as Nick Saban could tell you, trying to bargain for extra time isn't such a great idea either. Time's running low. Will college football and its fans do what's needed to get football back on the field this year? Or maybe the people in charge will actually relent the fact that what you're saying is needed is not actually fucking needed. How about that? Masks don't do shit. Masks are an illusion of safety. Wow. Kaiser, are local health officials worried about MLB restart? Who the fuck cares? Robinson, Washington's NFL team now has a new name coming. Smith, keep an eye on these sleeper NBA contenders as season starts. The kicker, Palace pulverized. Saturday morning, explosives did what Ron Artest couldn't, leveling the Palace of Auburn Hills. The Detroit area arena once hosted the Pistons and the WNBA's Shock. Farewell, Palace. Like Isaiah against the Bulls, you spoke volumes with your goodbye. That's it. Good night.